Okay. So I wanted to talk about my trading journey, and I wanted actually tripping, so I'm doing it on here, and maybe I'll just port it over or whatever. But maybe this will be better. So my experience through investing and trading and everything, and spirituality and everything, because for me it's all one. I don't see divisions. I don't do divisions. I stay away from people that do divisions. I stay away from people that cause trouble, people that cause drama. I don't want no beef. I don't want no smoke. I just want to mind my business and run it up. That's it. Anyway, that's me running. It's my running calculator, but yeah. So I was getting into this on X and it went off, but I'm gonna just start from the beginning. So the way that I got in trading is this. I started from road trip back in Louisiana, very depressed, going through some stuff. It was some token called Fire Something. I just said, I just messed around, needed some knock off my mind, put $100 into it. By the time I got back home, it was 700, but I didn't take profit. Went back down to 100. It eventually rug pulled. So I said, okay, whatever. Okay, next. And then from that I went to just finding about like the whole YouTube thing, all the influencers, crypto dudes, all the people you normally would have saw back then doing the pre-sale thing. They got me into that, and that taught me the law of averages. And then once I learned that, I pretty much I pretty much kept taking losses, not taking losses, doing things, not doing things. And then as I kept doing that, I started to discover things. And when I started to discover things, I discovered that I was down 6K in 2 months. But I kept at it with that old adage: don't keep repeating the same mistakes, or you crazy. Don't keep fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. I said, okay, cool. So one thing I started doing, I got pen and paper out. I started manually tracking everything I bought, plugging it into CoinGecko, and actually not knowing I was making a big step, but I was logging all my trades. And while I was also doing that, I was also not touching my own money, so making 80, 90K, but I'm still going out to deliver food. Back then it was free money, man. You could work 4 hours, make 150. I would just go out for an hour every day, hour and a half, make $50. Come back, throw it in the market. Take a L, don't matter. Get a 2X, take profit, leave it there. Compound the asset, grab another asset, go get another 50, grab another asset. And that's just how I kept doing it over and over. 4 or 5 months later, from the inception of me getting into the actual crypto markets, I'm up 60K, 50K. Reflecto is the name of the token that did it for me. I was big into DeFi, not meme coins, back then on that cusp, on that precipice. And that could be a whole nother story about how I got into that, but because even that in itself was a miracle. I wasn't I wasn't supposed to be in the woods, and I wasn't supposed to be in the woods beating everybody into a pre-sale. So I feel like some things meant to happen. But I digress. Yeah, I could go on, but I'm gonna piece it up because I don't want to bore nobody. This is a long story, and that's just part one. So I'm gonna really just end it right there. But for the most part, shut up, workout. For the most part, for the most part, I got tired of I just learned how to do stuff. Everything I learned how to do, with the exception of AI right now, I learned from pen and paper. Not making mistakes. Law of averages, law of probability. I still made 50, 60K without knowing nothing. And that's just the decentralized profits. On my Coinbase, my P&L is like It ain't gonna lie, it was 34K, but I've been doing a lot of random stuff. But I'm talking about since inception, it's still like 30K profit since then, and all that came from just noticing patterns, pattern recognition, finding out the best way to do things. And like, if you make a mistake, don't make it twice. If somebody rug you, this ain't financial advice. This is just me telling my story. Somebody rug me, I wouldn't make the same mistake twice. Somebody didn't do right by me, I wouldn't give them the money twice. I wouldn't. If I did, it would be. If I did, if there was one day if I hit for 10K, if I did, it would be poker based because I'll read their poker face, and when I learned some charts and I started learning a little basic, I said, oh, yeah, you full of it. Boom. Yeah. But anyway, he got me blocked. But my whole point is, let me get back to this run. My whole point is, you can't. My whole story through finance is more of a spiritual one, and people like that don't make no sense. But the way that I approach finance, a lot of people think it's about money, and like I said, at first I was very depressed, and it was just something to distract me. All the patterns and stuff I noticed is something that came over time, and when things came over time, I started saying, "Oh," I start having like those little aha moments, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then as I go on, because this story goes on, uh, I could do a story later about Bit. That's when I first started getting into like um, different type of protocols and things like that. And then as I started doing that, I started I started actually seeing the patterns. And even in that project, at the peak, I probably had like maybe 25K. But that's because I had all the data to put in, the money I put in at the beginning, plus my intuitive investing, plus my spiritual trading, like combining all that together, mixed with what I saw, at least at that point, if it was about money, I would have been right. But I had, I don't know if I got tricked or if it was just the greater good, but I got tricked out of that. But I did find some good people. But everything I'm talking about before was no community, just me on pen and paper, no internet. I didn't even have a social media account to tap in with nobody, to go see any data. And I was in Safe Moon, and I ended up making a profit in that. And I also end up being a $10,000 loss because when you don't know, and you do dumb stuff. So I'm saying all this to say, man, actually, I'm documenting this for a whole other reason because one of my compadres, he was talking about how like people jump from different assets and stuff on X, and I'm like, that ain't me because everything with me in my whole life has been spiritual. I'm not here for the attention. That's part of why I do the trading and investing and things like that, so I can pay myself. So I don't have to act like them. So I don't go have to chase a paycheck and talk about things and move around and play the influence games and do the fake networking. I don't want to do that. I want to stay tapped in on my patterns, keep creating, keep building. So I was like, you know what? Everybody inspires me to tell a story. Last week, it was Dividend Ken. And y'all, if y'all come to my ex, y'all find out who that is. He's pretty solid. He's a index investor. And that could be a whole nother video, but that's another thing I learned. Don't I don't judge by asset classes the same way in real life. I don't judge by race, color, creed. I mean, let me not act like okay. I don't judge within a way that's like discriminatory, like you trying to defame or nothing like that. Safety, of course, like, but I'm talking about I see everything as one. So when I'm looking at the different asset classes, which is a whole other thing, the way that I approach things now from the mindset that I got from way back when, and even things I'm learning now in like Bitcoin and all these other things that I try to protect my money, and now I look at other things and people are gonna agree, they're not gonna agree. That's just part of the internet. But it's just what taught me the best, and that's just how I learned how to do it. From going from that, everything keeps expanding. And like even to pivot real quick, in my side life, my spiritual life, everything keeps expanding. Everything starts from a certain point. I literally just follow my nudges through life and see where it takes me at certain times. People didn't know before I found that bit error. I had took like a 3 to 6 month break from trading because I had lost 20 grand. Also, money I had just made the 50 grand. I don't know if I tell that story enough, but I showed it online before. I showed all the data, everything. I logged everything. I've lost money before. I don't mind telling the people about my losses. But I did make a profit, and I did cash some out, and I did pay some lawyers, and I did do something with it. Did buy some stuff. But my whole point is, I just be following the journey, seeing where it takes me. Just end up having to make some money, having to do some things, having to have an inquisitive brain to see some patterns, and to keep coming back, and just keep following those nudges. And even now, my nudges led me to Bitcoin. My nudges led me to ETFs and dividends and all that stuff like that. And that was combining back with stuff that even that I don't remember that I forgot. Like the shut up, dang thing. Like in the past when I used to be in the fire movement, when I used to wake up on the weekend and buy Tesla and buy a gram of gold every week, and when I used to do all these different things, and when Ethereum was $80, that could be a video all within itself. When Ethereum was $80, and I said, "Ew, I'm not buying that shit." I literally said, "Ew, I'm not buying that. I'm buying my Tesla." Now Ethereum went up to 2, 3, 4, 5 grand. See how things work? These are the things that taught me like I'm not trying to hop in every lane and be in every lane. It's more so that I'm not about to. All these asset classes taught me how energy flows, and I learned how energy flows through all the different asset classes, and I take that fractal from that and I apply it to my real life, to my real stuff I do, religion, prayer, all that, my groups, my background, all my side stuff, because everything rolls over. You understand how to, like almost like how the spirit moves, it's how the energy moves through these asset classes, and the commodities might have it one day, and Bitcoin might have it the next day, and then Bitcoin run up, all the blockchain stuff gonna run up the next day, and when Bitcoin top out, they're gonna start launching meme coins to mess you up on the way down. It's just so many things that kept revealing itself over and over and over again. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna just keep saying these patterns. I'm really just here for the data and learning how to take all these different asset classes and combine them together into different things and seeing how it reflects on multiple different levels, like a layer of an onion, like dimensionally, so to speak, and then applying it to my trading, then applying it to my finance, then applying it to my investing. Because I feel like you don't learn just by being singular. A lot of people do. You can stay in one asset class, making billion dollars, and you can just buy one thing and chill. You can just invest in ETFs and chill. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But me, I'm here for data, so I gotta venture out. Even now, I remember back in the past, you say, forget MTs, forget NFTs, forget NFTs, forget NFTs. Now, somebody I knew for a long time, Dev, he launching crazy NFTs. He getting money up there. Somebody that tried to get me into some NFTs in the bear market, which was actually fair, even though I was like, I'm not paying $1,000. Now they had 4,000. Now they had 5,000. It's not about the money. It's more about appreciating the value, and also knowing when you got good signals, knowing when you got good people around you. And yes, a lot of stuff gonna be BS, but you can mine through the patterns and figure out what works for you. Like the same way I say I don't see divisions, I want to see how all these ecosystems can work together versus arguing about them. Because I remember when I didn't have a social media and I didn't argue with nobody, and I made 50K, and then from that to coming online and arguing with everybody about nothing and who got the best asset, who's the this, who's the that, bruh. I'm like, bruh, I remember how it was to not talk to nobody and just focus. You can't focus if you're doing all that. The only time you got time to focus like that is if you probably busy. Like I got so much stuff I got to touch on. If I'm arguing with people, I'm losing money, and I literally lost money arguing with people online. I'm like, that's why I'm like, I left groups, I move around, I don't do this, I don't because I have to live within a way where I can't be dealing with all this bull. But anyway, I'm digressing a lot. My whole point is the patterns and how I started. It's all tying back together. It's actually all in there to be honest, but it's so fragmented because that's just the beginning stages of when I got into the trading and the Bitcoin and the decentralized stuff, and I got into the community aspect. It's so many layers within that, so many different communities I touched, people within there I learned from, everything up to that point. And I say, you know what? I want to start mapping that out as I'm inspired by to take the negativity that I heard on X, and I want to turn it into a positive over here. And anyway, I was trying to do this over there, but video cut off. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it over here where it don't cut off while I'm running, and I could just be trying to. I want to do it over here where it don't cut me out for some reason. I used to do 3, 4 hour lives over there, and it wouldn't pause at all. Now, if I go run for 5 minutes with signal, it cuts off. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna just start recording over here, putting it over there, linking stuff together. But for me, it's really about even this is therapeutic in a way because as I get that out, as I get that stress out, that trauma out, not really trauma, but as I move that out the way, I'm like, all right, clear that pattern up, transmute that, turn that into something positive, turn that into content, turn that into something that people can resonate with, maybe, maybe not, just getting it out. I like to work, so I'm gonna find something to do every day. When I do that, boom, I go back to my charts, I go back to my patterns, I see a new pattern, boom, I find new patterns, make some more money, boom. I figure out where that takes me. I'm not gonna act like it's not about the money, but I try not to focus on it too. I really want the data because the data is what rolls over. And I think I heard it from it was one of them investing guys, was it the Wall Street guy, Wall Street Trapper. I think it was him. Said, "Man, if you give me this cell phone, I can run it back. If you give me this or give me that, I can run it back. I don't have to necessarily sit here." And so I want to get the skills and stuff, and then learn and do and grow. But I digress. I need to get back to running and get back to doing this thing. But play this back. If it help you, it don't. If it do, it don't. But I'm gonna just keep documenting my journey about how I got to where I'm at now. So not only can I rewind and realize where I started from, but I can start seeing where I'm going next and where I want to set my goals into in the future. And I think it's important to document that. And I never did it before. I mean, I got an X page that go back probably 5 years, but that's chaotic. I want to start putting a video format to that so I can have like kind of like a proof of work for myself and just keep that going. But anyway, I digress. One. Oh, hold up. All these people saying hi, hey y'all. I don't be paying attention like that. My bad. I was running actually, and I stopped for a minute because I'm tired. But shout out to everybody. I'm I ain't gonna lie, I'm not really a social person like that. But I don't mind talking to nobody if anybody got questions if they ever do. But I just like to